You're listening to The Metal Lens. Life, the universe, and everything from a metal point of view.
And here we are again.
Here we go. This
Hello,
is it.
metal friends.
Hello there, folks. Hi.
We are previously pre-recorded. By the time you listen to this, it'll be probably several weeks.
Remember that scene in Spaceballs? What the hell are we looking at anyway? Now. We're looking at now.
When? Back then. When is then going to be now?
Soon.
But you just missed it.
Just now.
When? Just now.
So anyway, what you're seeing right now already happened.
Yeah,
But,
well,
you know,
it just means it's Friday for us.
Yeah, that's the nature of recorded media, I guess. Anyways, Troy, Ramon, metal.
This program has been previously recorded.
That's it. So Friday, May the 24th?
Yeah.
2019, Memorial Day weekend.
It is.
Yes, we'll have to chat about, like, you know, what's going on this Memorial Day at some point before I leave here. But we're here to remember.
Well, and what are we supposed to be remembering again? I forget.
Lest we forget, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Memorial, for your day. And
No, I mean,
we
seriously,
really-
really, I really don't.
it's veterans, the sacrifice.
Oh,
that our noble
well,
veterans.
that's probably why I was confused, because
Yeah.
I know there's a Veterans Day.
Shit.
We have parades and all kinds of things for Veterans Day.
We might
So
have to
that's why
pause
I didn't
this, Troy.
think that that's what Memorial Day was.
Maybe it's more
memorizing.
the memorial of those we lost.
In general.
I think it's supposed to be wartime memorial. Everything in this country is kind of patriotized to the point where it's supposed to, you know, it becomes martial and military in nature, you know.
Which I'm okay with. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. I think we need to blow more shit up in Christmas.
Mm.
Yeah. Being real, 4th of July, fireworks, bang. New Year's, fireworks, bang. Memorial Day, dead, bang. Veterans Day, you know, they're still alive, except for the ones who aren't. Are you discovering some interesting shit about Memorial Day?
Yeah, well, I guess it's a federal holiday for remembering and honoring people who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces.
Okay. The United States Armed Forces.
Unlike Veterans Day, where it's everyone who has ever served in the
It's a
military.
celebration of and to honor those who have served, I guess, dead or alive,
Dead or alive.
regardless of their living status. Yeah.
Wanted, dead or alive. I'm so sorry Bon Jovi came across there.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, he probably is up there among the most, the more patriotic.
Stevie
rock
Ray
stars.
Vaughan died in an airplane, and we can't get Bon Jovi on a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
Come on, the hairdresser's in there. Get in.
Anyway, so Memorial Day. So put your steaks on your grill and your boigas and drink a bunch of beer. Which is funny because, I mean, that's pretty much every weekend for me. But,
Yeah,
you know.
well, we're in New Orleans, so
Yeah.
that's kind of what we do on the weekends anyway.
All right.
Because it's like 95 fucking degrees right now. We're not even in June.
Thanks, China, for your carbon emissions. Appreciate that shit. All right, so beep, news around the metal world. Yeah. So I got some fun items for you. No real theme like I did last episode,
Oh,
but
I like themes.
well, maybe we could find a theme.
Okay.
You know, maybe we can find some sort of like conspiracy theory theme that underlies everything in the Illuminati sense or whatever. You know.
Ooh.
If nothing else, maybe we could just like pick certain words out or certain letters, and we'll find the hidden code, you know, and find the buried treasure. All right, so this I thought this was kind of funny. Rick Rubin, famous producer Rick Rubin,
Yeah.
right, says Slayer invented black metal. According to this article, which came out of metalsucks.net, This is, quote, something I noticed relatively early working with different artists that was interesting was one of the bands I work with is called Slayer, heavy metal band, very, periods of ellipses, one of the inventors of black metal, very aggressive metal, and the lyrics were very dark and heavy. He goes on and on. So, so the article kind of criticizes that comment because thrash metal, speed metal, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know about the creators, but they were certainly one of the big.
Initially, I do not agree with it at all.
I don't agree with it either.
But far be it from me to question any fucking thing Rick Rubin says. Because we could probably go a whole podcast on just what that guy has done for music.
Oh my, that would be interesting.
And, you know, Jesus, and not just metal, of course. I mean, he's done every fucking thing. He's done hip hop. He's done.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys, right?
He did one. We're gonna get this sooner or later because I've started to compile a list, and we're gonna do like a top 20, top 50, top 100 rock or metal albums of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. Probably in the top 10, probably 8 of the 10 are gonna be Rick Rubin albums. I can tell you that right now.
All right.
Because that Licensed Ill album is up there. And we were just talking about
That's
that
true. Yeah.
with Jason about, you know, the first things you listened to when you were a kid. And that was one of my first albums that I bought. And I broke the fucking tape.
Yep.
I played it so much I broke it and I bought another one.
Yep.
It's just a fucking great album. And, yeah, there he is.
Rick Rubin.
He doesn't really have the huge beard anymore, I don't believe. Or it's not as big as it used to be.
Well, R.I.P. Rick Rubin's beard.
Yeah, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Public Enemy.
All right.
All of that great, really actually good hip hop back in the day. Yeah, I mean,
it's when the shit started. Yeah.
And it just goes on, and it blows your mind. Like of all he almost did all of the Beastie Boys stuff, but I'm pretty sure, like you look at a lot of these artists, and you're gonna see like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, they had some good, but boy, that Blood Sugar Sex Magic was a great fucking album. Guess who produced it? It's that guy.
All right.
So, you know, I don't. If he tells me the sky is green, okay, Rick, I'm gonna have to take your word for it, dude. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm going to go on the record and say that Slayer did not invent black metal. The article goes on to cite Venom, Hellhammer, and Bathory. Of course, yeah. Venom having their first album was black metal was the name of the album. Mm-hmm. So go figure. And you know, even when you listen to that first album, their first Venom album, it doesn't really sound like any of the stuff that we listen to now that's called black metal. But you know, hey, I mean, I kind of get it. Maybe there's like I don't know, a connection with regard to like the theatrical shit. We talked about that last time. That black metal kind of brought along. And probably, you know, helped with their popularity and all. But, yeah, Slayer influencing, certainly, but not inventing. But whatever. You know, he's Rick Rubin. He can say whatever he wants, so fuck it.
Okay, so let's just do this right here.
All right.
And then we'll completely get off of Rick Rubin, okay?
Okay.
So this is just some fucking whatever website. Rick Rubin's 10 essential albums.
Okay, 10 essential albums, Rick Rubin.
From whatever source that thinks that these are his 10 essential albums.
Yep.
But here you go. Toxicity, System of a Down.
Okay. That's Rick Rubin, all right.
Adele, 21. Hello. Anybody home? Fucking I don't like that shit, but it's a fucking fantastic. Listen to it. It's a fucking fantastic album.
All right.
I don't care what you say. Black Sabbath, 13. Yeezus by Kanye West. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Taking the Long Way, Dixie Chicks. I'm assuming 2003. That was the height of the Dixie Chicks. It was right there.
Yeah.
Rain and Blood.
Yeah.
Raising Hell from Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was the album with Walk This Way with Aerosmith. There you go.
Okay.
That kind of totally changed music forever.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of took a big dog leg, and Rick Rubin was right in the fucking middle of it. Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah. And he was a producer of our generation too, man.
Licensed to Ill, Beastie Boys.
You know, I mean, all those albums that you cited. Well,
number one, American Recordings, that Johnny Cash album where he did all the cover songs.
Oh, okay. That was Rick.
That was Rick Rubin too. So,
no shit.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
So,
he's a busy man.
Well,
doubt.
Yeah, he is. And that's why I say whatever you say, Rick, I'll go with what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I to question you for anything?
All right. Sorry for the blasphemy there. Moving right along. Lord Dian.
Yeah.
New music video for Nearing the End of the Curling Worm. Let me repeat that. Nearing the End of the Curling Worm. New video came out.
Which is the name of the track, Nearing the End of the Curling.
Nearing the End of the Curling Worm. Did you hear that one?
No, but it's just weird how it ran out. It was like premiere new music for Nearing the End of the Curling, like
Curling
it's the
Worm.
end of the video called
Nearing the End of the Curling Worm. No, quote, Nearing the End of the Curling Worm, end quote. That's it. Anyway, I saw the video. It's all right. I wasn't too terribly impressed. But that's there. Lord Dying, pretty cool. And looky there. They're playing here in New Orleans at Southport Hall. Sunday.
Sunday.
So, this Sunday, coming right up.
Oh, you know, I completely forgot about that place.
Yeah. It's every once in a while somebody, I think Crowbar played there.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. They get some acts come through. All right. This is, you remember a few episodes back, we were talking about the Slayer Black Magic Minotaur action figure?
Yeah.
Remember the action figure for the Minotaur that was on the cover of Black Magic?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, let's see. No, I'm sorry. That was Show No Mercy. That was Show No Mercy. There is a Black Magic Minotaur that was just announced. It's a variant on the one that I showed you a few episodes previously. And now I'm realizing the clip doesn't have a picture of the freaking thing, so you can't see it right now.
Well, you know, whatever. That's good for Slayer. I mean, they've got, you know, you can look at a lot of interviews. Early in their career, they were getting fucked. They were not making any money, and that really kind of drove a split with Dave Lombardo and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because Dave was a fucking asshole or fucking Tom Araya's a piece of shit, because he's not. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, it seems like a decent person.
It's just they were getting fucked money-wise.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing an awful lot of work for very little money. And it seems like now they finally got all that shit straightened out.
Okay, well, I pulled a picture up. It's extremely blurry, probably because I'm pulling the signal off of my phone. But it's the same thing. It's obviously black in color.
It's so cool looking, because
it is pretty cool looking.
It's like the old G.I. Joe in Star Wars. It's like the cardboard with the blister with the.
Oh, totally.
It's just.
Or the old Kenner Star Wars. Yeah.
It looks just like the old Star Wars action figures and G.I. Joe action figures.
Yep.
Except it's black with the Slayer pentagram.
It's fucking badass. We'll flash a picture of it. $15, dude.
I want one.
From super7.com.
And no, I will not open it. Ugh.
Oh, no, that's a collector's item, dude. So anyway, now they've got the Black Magic variant for this thing.
You can start a collection.
I love this, dude. I love this. I don't have the video, but Kirk Hammett slips on his wah pedal during a Metallica concert, and this is a still shot from said slip. He's up there jamming, playing a solo with his ubiquitous wah pedal. And
signature wah pedal.
Yeah, and I don't know. He slips on like a piece of I don't know, like a tarp or something that was underneath it, or underneath the pedal, whatever, and he slips, falls on his ass. Very funny. But I mean, the funny thing is not so much that he slipped and fell, but he did it while using the wah pedal. Kirk Hammett with his infamous wah overusage, some would say.
I don't know. I've always liked the solos. I didn't think that they were. I know some people said some shit about him, but I thought a lot of his solo work was tasteful and good.
I think the wah stuff came about with the Black Album and later.
Well, maybe, and that's probably why. But his earlier stuff I thought was good. But when a band like that plays, I mean, how many arena shows have they played? 8 billion. Somebody's liable to fall on their ass and do something sooner or later. I mean,
Metallica has played on all 7 continents.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna.
Yeah, they flew out to Antarctica just to say that they were able to do it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Didn't they put out some kind of box set commemorating that or something?
I don't know.
Probably.
I really don't pay much attention to anything else, anything that Metallica puts out anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Denver voters, Denver, Colorado, have voted to approve decriminalizing magic mushrooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did hear about this.
And so bring it on. I have never done mushrooms, believe it or not, but I look forward to one day. And
well, my whole thing about that is I guess I got to look into it more and see how they handle jobs, like as far as testing. Because even though it's legal, so is alcohol, but you can't operate machinery on it too. And I know you're probably pretty safe operating machinery high as a kite. I'm not so sure about tripping on mushrooms. I know. Look, I've done it. I've done LSD. I've done mushrooms. I know it's a lot different than LSD, but the main reason I'm curious about that is because of our state in Louisiana. It's getting closer to all the states doing it.
Yeah.
But I do not do any drugs because I cannot. I get drug tested randomly.
And I do not do any drugs because I'm a big putty tat.
But for it to be legal here, I would think the only way it could be is if they would have to have some type of testing to determine if you were under the influence, like right now.
I don't even know if that is testable, honestly, psilocybin. I really don't know.
There is a test for marijuana.
Sure.
But I don't know if there is, and that's why I was curious about that. I don't know.
I don't know, man. But the thing about it is, like, they're just getting step closer to being changed as far as like the schedule, the DEA schedule of drugs. So right now, I just read an article where they are doing clinical trials on the use of MDMA for PTSD. FYI. So it does some pretty. I mean, we're talking like really small therapeutic doses. We're not talking about like tripping balls and shit and rolling on fucking X, But I mean, people with PTSD seem to have benefited from doses of X, MDMA, and the same thing they're saying about mushrooms for depression actually. Which, I don't know, chemically makes sense to me, so I'm all for it.
Well, it's kind of strange because if you do mushrooms for any period of time, and there is a technique called microdosing, and I really do believe that microdosing especially kind of fixes what's fucked up with you. It's because, I mean, once it gets labeled the drug, everybody looks at it, oh, it's a bad thing. But you got to kind of look at it as more of a medicine that may have been abused.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it gets labeled narcotic. Narcotic, that word. But a lot of things, the health benefits, especially marijuana and mushrooms, there can be bad effects from it, but there are also many health benefits from it.
Look, I'll put it to you this way. According to the DEA, the schedule system is determined by addictive potential, potential for harm, and medicinal value. There may be other metrics or whatever, but I'm not sure. So Schedule 1, the evil drugs, all right? Both that you just mentioned, marijuana and mushrooms, are both listed as Schedule 1, meaning they have high addictive potential, right?
Right.
No medicinal value. Guess what's on Schedule 2? Fucking morphine.
Right.
Fucking heroin. For all intents and purposes. I don't know what it's called, but there actually is a like a generic medical name for heroin. I don't know what it is, but there's a name for it. As there is a name for like all the other opiate drugs, OxyContin and so on, Vicodin. But I mean, it's all ass backwards, and it's pretty much based entirely on politics, money, control, that kind of bullshit.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That kind of proves to you how their scheduling system is and how they set it up.
I think we know what they mean by Schedule 1. I'm going to move on. Obituary has a new music video, and damn it, that isn't embedded either. It's just a blank page. 10,000 Ways to Die, the official music video from Obituary. Dude, check that video out, okay? It's a cartoon. And not only is it... Remember how we did... There was a black metal... It's a funny cartoon, dude. I don't know what to compare it to. The imagery from it, I'm blanking on it right now, but I saw it, dude. It's funny. It's a funny Obituary cartoon, and there's zombies, and there's Obituary the band running around like running away from the zombies and like beating them up and shit, dude. It's way to go, Obituary, because that is a very amusing idea for a video. 10,000 Ways to Die from Obituary. Maybe we'll put a clip on that here. Are you looking at it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Dude, it's good. I mean, of course, this guy that's like the story and all. Yeah. They're going to play a gig. That's not Obituary. I don't know what that is. There's Obituary.
Zombies.
Yeah. Animated zombies. 2019, y'all. Obituary's been one of my favorite metal bands for like decades now.
Hurry up or we're gonna get ate!
That's great.
That right there, that little octave melody, a little different sound for Obituary, but then he comes in. I'll overlay the video. So yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah. I thought that
Because
was
that was
awesome.
kind of the way I always felt about like music videos. If we were ever to do one,
Oh yeah.
I did. The last thing I would ever want is a video of us playing. That just seems dumb as fuck to me.
Even if we were like wearing makeup and just kind of standing around like this, perhaps.
Well, if it was meant to be stupid and sarcastic, then maybe.
Oh, dude.
But like,
right.
it's just a live, it's a video of us just playing the song that you're listening to.
Uh-huh.
I just come to a show and see that. I don't.
You seen that Meshuggah video where they're playing in the bus, in the tour bus?
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I can't remember what song it is. Real quick, Mental Health, Out of the Pit, a film on mental health within the metal community. Last week, this was May 15th. I pulled it. May 15th. MetalInsider.net. Last week, we recognized Mental Health Awareness Month. I guess that's May, yeah. By joining together, sharing a list of music that has helped us cope during difficult times. As we continue to observe, we came across the trailer for an upcoming documentary titled Mental Health, Out of the Pit. A film follows the subject on mental health and depression within the heavy music world. Interviews from Venom Prison, Wolfheart, Ex Mortis, Karak Angren, and more. I haven't heard of any of those bands. That's kind of a neat idea.
Well, I kind of find it a little bit interesting right off the jump because my first thought is I think if I would have to say that perhaps the metal crowd is probably the least depressed.
Dude, remember that article that came out about like how people use it as sort of like a catharsis, like a purge, you know what I mean? It's uplifting
and plus I think people who are into metal are less into the fitting into the pressures of society of the role they're supposed to play and the car they're supposed to buy and the house they're supposed to have and the family they're supposed to have and all this typical kind of pop culture type of things and materialistic way of looking at life and everything. And I think the metal crowd doesn't have those pressures and tends to be less depressed. I was just to poke a stick at it.
Yeah.
I could be entirely off the mark. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on there. I think. I mean, you got that heavy metal as catharsis. You got heavy metal as attracting people who aren't necessarily prone to, a lot of the fucking social pressures that are out there that other people are prone to, like what you're saying. And then it also attracts people who are a little disenfranchised and alienated, So, and for those reasons, a lot of people who are, a lot of people that I've run into and known and played music with maybe are kind of, outsiders and maybe loners and not necessarily, but, so at least a little different. And sometimes that can be kind of tough, and it's not because of the music. I think it's the absolute opposite. I think people get into the music because it's like, I know that I'm a little different from other people because of this, that, and the other, which has nothing to do with music or whatever. But if I'm a little different, I might as well just roll with it. I'm gonna look a little different. I'm gonna listen to music that's a little different. I'm gonna act a little different. I'm gonna dance a little different, and all that shit. You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
it makes sense in my mind, but I think because of that, you have to kind of be aware that, some of our metal brethren could be prone to, being diagnosed with something and, going through some rough times. And I think that's kind of what the point of this documentary was, just kind of like, shit. I mean, and we're not necessarily talking about. See, I don't like the term mental health. For one thing. Okay, I think it's a loaded fucking term. If we're gonna but let's just use the term for the time being. Mental health. We're talking about all kinds of things. We're talking about like anger, sadness, depressed, anxious, whatever, and not just like people who are psychotic and burn down churches and stuff like that. But people who are going through some rough shit. And the reason I don't like the term mental health is because the first thing you think of when you think of mental health is you think of like schizophrenics and people who are, serious, fucking, debilitating.
Well, and I think another thing we have going for us is we have the power of Satan, and Satan has the power to heal you.
That's true. That is true. Stay away from the light. Walk into the darkness, brothers and sisters of Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan, yeah. This is sad. Speaking of obituary, Terry Butler, Obituary's bassist. I don't know if he's still playing with them, but Terry Butler's daughter killed in a car crash.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's his daughter right there. In this picture, these are his daughter's sons. So Terry Butler's grandsons here, and his daughter, who I don't know, looked to be in her 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late 20s, maybe.
Yeah, because Terry Butler's probably late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
The kids are 6 and 10. So.
Kids are, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so that sucks. So some loss in the community, and a GoFundMe page has been established, and I'll go ahead and put a link to that GoFundMe page because I love Obituary, and that's a sad thing to have to deal with. Speaking of loss, we've got Larry Carroll, the artist who did the album covers for Slayer, dead at 65.
Oh, wow.
So this is what? South of Heaven? Rain and Blood. There's South of Heaven with the skull.
He obviously did South of Heaven
and Seasons. Yeah.
You could tell.
You could tell it's the same dude. Yeah. But yeah, and I don't have the article, so I don't have the guy's name, but also this guy, I think he was maybe like Polish or something kind of Eastern European maybe, who did art for Judas Priest. He also passed away this past week. So, hey, cheers to the fallen artists.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I mean, we talk about that every once in a while, especially when we bring up the, whoops, I'm inadvertently advertising my beer. Fuck you. You're not paying for this.
Yeah, so am I, but
well,
this is nothing special.
Yeah.
You can get this everywhere.
I'm about to piss some of that, dude, right now after drinking this shit right here. Anyway, dude, the artwork. We talked about like Arise, Sepultura Arise, and just how fucking mind-blowing. I always thought that Napalm Death had some great album covers. Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse.
Obviously, some very provocative, crazy shit. But I mean, I loved Arise, and I loved Sepultura's Arise, and I loved Utopia Banished from Napalm Death. Because that was one of those albums where, like, you look at it, and every time you look at it, you see something else. Oh, shit, I didn't notice that fucking weird spider thing crawling around. Or I didn't notice this guy hanging in chains upside down with his face off or whatever.
Yeah, they have some really good ones.
Really, really good album covers. And I feel, Troy, I don't know how accurate this is because I'm just a working stiff. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems to me like album covers are not like what they used to be. They're not putting forth the kind of effort that Larry Carroll put out.
Amorphous has some really good ones.
Amorphous? Okay. You like some of the earlier stuff?
Yeah.
Like Privilege of Evil and Black Winter's Day kind of stuff? All right.
The Carillion Isthmus.
Isthmus. All right.
Oh, yeah, it's Cannibal Corpse. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of perusing my album art here.
No, I haven't looked at
Conan is really good. Conan has some really good ones.
Okay. Yeah, man. It kind of like how you've spoken before about just there's nothing quite like having an album in hand, like a CD with the inlay and the fold out and the art and the lyrics and the dedication list and all that shit and the photos of everybody in red and all that stuff just kind of creates the not just the aesthetic, but I mean also just like the you get a tangible product that you paid for.
Well, and if you're really close, if it's a band that you're really into, it draws you a step closer to them, and it brings you in. Any little snapshot you can get of their actual personality brings you in closer to a fan. And one of my favorite things used to be on those great albums in the 90s was every once in a while you would have an outtake of them in the studio. Like during a fuck up or talking or laughing, and you're like, "Oh fuck, what is it?" And you turn it up and you put the headphones on, and you try and get some type of glimpse at at their personality. And I always thought that was a cool, you know.
You know what else is great? A lot of maybe sort of like the maybe on the side of like thrash to hardcore to maybe punk kind of bands. They'll do those collages of like photos on the road and shit like that,
absolutely.
or photos in the studio and stuff like that. Yeah, just those little glimpses into like, you know, what life is like for these people, for these guys, you know, when they're you know, on the road or in the studio and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably two of the greatest videos or well, documentaries, I guess, was one on Metallica and one on Pantera, and especially the one on Pantera. And I even think they put out a few music videos like this too. Is the song would play in, which is also something that I like because it wasn't a video of them playing the song in a studio. It was just a random collage of them on tour fucking off.
Right.
And that was the whole video. And it was great. It was absolutely great.
Is that the way like Cliff and Wall was like?
Yeah.
You mentioned Metallica, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Cliff and Wall. It was that first big box set they put out. I don't remember.
Was it Black Album Justice era?
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm picturing a bunch of black and white footage in my head for some reason. Pause while we look this up on the interwebs.
Oh, live shit, binge and purge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Live shit, binge and purge. All right.
That was in '93, by the way.
So right after the Black Album or whatever. Okay, yeah. So you got to see them. They're on the road.
Yeah,
they're fucking around.
It was
they're
excellent,
doing,
and really, it's really Pantera. The one Pantera did was just so good, so good.
I never saw either of those actually. Yeah, but I mean, I agree. I think just the album and those little glimpses, you know,
Because,
all of
I mean,
that shit
that's
just makes a
what I
band
wanna
more
do.
accessible,
That's
doesn't
what
it?
I want to do. You know, like when I hear a new band that I like when I found out about the Oath, I was like, man, who the fuck is this fucking bitch on fucking guitar? And so I looked the name up. It's a very common fucking name in fucking Northland, up in the north.
Yeah.
Up there, it's Johansson something fucking. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's got a very common name, so you got to kind of sift through there's a couple of other female artists that has the same exact name. That's not her. You'll know her when she's pure evil. And then I'm like, man, what other bands was she in? Oh, let me check that band. You kind of follow the artist. And
Right.
And you go looking for all, and that's what I like to do. You know, I want give it all to me. And you know, this is quite a few years ago. Shit, probably about a decade ago, or probably longer than that. Because I'm going to bring up Hannah Montana. Because, and I'm sure a lot of other ones did it. And matter of fact, the way I found out about it really was Ringo Starr. He recently, well, I say recently, probably 10 years ago now, he put out an album, and Hannah Montana was doing this. And that's kind of where he got the idea from. Because instead of putting a CD out or whatever, they put out a USB, a flash drive.
Oh.
And the Hannah Montana thing was a little bracelet.
Oh, okay.
That you could pull apart, and it was the
Oh,
USB
okay.
drive.
Right.
You know, it was
Okay.
pink and had Hannah Montana on it.
Sure, I got a couple, yeah.
But the thing is you bought the flash drive, and when you bought the flash drive, you got the album, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and you got it digitally,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got a whole album of photos.
Oh, all right.
You might have had some
Okay.
photos of them in the studio recording the album.
Okay. So
You would have maybe gotten, depending on how they do it, you would have maybe gotten codes to
Uh-huh.
like for a
download
link
codes
to
maybe,
get like a sticker and a T-shirt
Oh, okay.
because you
Oh,
bought the
alright.
album. Links to this, you get tour date schedules.
Alright,
you get
alright.
that. You get all this big thing of information. You almost get like a press pack
Huh.
of everything on you just plug it in your computer and you get all of this information. You get,
Yeah.
and I thought that was just a fantastic idea.
That's pretty cool.
I thought it was great. I thought that was the future. I thought that's just the way it was going to go.
Uh-huh.
And maybe it will because it kind of seems like the vinyl thing has kind of died down again because it's pretty hot for a while. But I guess they realize how expensive
It is
and how
yeah, right.
and how long it takes to make fucking records, and it's just not a convenient way. Yes, it may sound a little bit better, but it's just not fucking a convenient way to listen to music anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you wanna you wanna listen to this and you fuck.
Yeah.
And it's I really did. I thought that was extremely innovative, and I really thought that was the way it was going to go. Because I mean,
It is
if you
innovative.
look at it now, for whatever type of, I don't know, you might have to get like a 1 gig, maybe for that. Probably not even that.
Probably not even. Depends on how much shit you put on there. If you put a few videos, it might take up a good
Yeah,
bit of
and
space.
you
but
can get the videos on there too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, maybe 300 megs. I don't know.
maybe 500 for the. It don't matter, dude. A gig is. I mean, flash
Yeah, so
storage
like,
is super cheap
so like,
now. So fuck
how
it.
much is a 1 gig fucking USB drive?
Not much, man.
Hardly anything.
I
So
mean, Jesus, like it's $10, maybe less than that. Probably $5. I don't know.
So I
Probably not
mean,
$5, but-
and you can put whatever you want on it, and I just really thought that was really awesome. And this was 10, 15 years ago. This is like 10 years ago.
10 years ago? No, it's a really neat idea. And it's a great way to take advantage of, like, what they
And for
kinda
some reason, I
saw
was flipping the
as-
channels late at night, and I seen Russ say, "What the fuck is Ringo doing on TV? What is he doing now?" Like, oh, okay. Then he started talking about the new album that he's putting out,
Yeah.
and how he was releasing it through a USB drive. And I was like, "Fucking A, dude.
That's cool.
That's pretty fucking good.
That's cool.
Check out the brain on Ringo. then.
Exactly.
Yeah, it probably wasn't his idea, but it's a good one.
It don't matter. He's banking off of it.
Yeah, and for some reason, it really didn't come to fruition. But I
Yeah.
mean, I just thought it was a great idea.
Well, you mentioned Ringo. You just missed McCartney.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I knew he was coming. I
Yeah.
had seen him once before.
Yeah. I know he's a Von Meyer favorite.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I had to rate him, I mean, he's probably one of the top 3 bassists that's ever walked the face of the earth, in my opinion.
The Earth.
The Earth.
Now that's excluding other planets, Troy. I shame on you for being so narrow-minded. Let's not forget Zolthar, the 700-armed warlord
Yeah.
who plays an instrument that ranges 1,000 octaves.
And Paul's still doing it, dude.
And Paul's still doing it. No, I heard he was like walking around the city taking pictures and shit.
Yes, absolutely. He went back to just seen him on something. He went back to Liverpool and hanging out with people. Had the band come up and played. He fucking spry as a young chicken. I mean,
he found the fountain of youth, man.
yeah,
And you know what I attribute it to? Satan.
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 It must be Satan.
Yep, male Satan. Real quick, Russian circles.
Speaking of Satan.
Satan.
Yeah, Russian circles.
You listen to that?
Not so much. Jason does.
I
and his
figured it
wife,
would be Jason's.
And,
Yeah.
Jason, and Jess is really into him.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it. It's pretty good. It's really difficult for me to get into instrumental music.
Yeah, they're reminding me of that band Jacob, which I'm pretty into, and I don't think you're really into them, but kind of like the border between like prog rock and metal and not even prog rock. I don't even know how to describe it.
But
Instrumental music.
It's not my cup of tea per se.
Yeah.
But I have heard of them and they are very good.
They're good. I mean, they put on some good shit.
Matter of fact, they got married to she walked down the aisle to a Russian circle song.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You were DJing. Yeah,
I DJ'd their wedding.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Well, somebody posted this. Brandy actually posted this on the Book of Face.
Yeah, strap that on your gourd.
I'm gonna strap that on my ass, buddy. Russian circles. They're coming down with Windhand, who you've mentioned, in November 4th at One Eye Jack's. Good old One Eye Jack's.
Whoa. Back that up.
Okay. One Eye Jack's. Good old One Eye Jack's.
Yeah, who?
They're playing November 4th. Russian circles with Windhand.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an interesting combo. I gotta tell you something. I seen Windhand at Gasa Gasa.
We've talked about them a few times.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing. His guitar tone is so filthy.
Mm-hmm.
And, wow, I mean, in extremely heavy bands like that, I've wondered about it because I had this conversation with the drummer for Beast in the Field because they're so loud and heavy, it makes your insides hurt. Mm-hmm. It's painful. But I'm like, how well does that translate on a recording for what the incredible thing that you do live?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, it kind of is what it is.
Right.
And, Windhand translates pretty good on their latest thing. Eternal Return is an excellent album.
Uh-huh.
But, man, you go listen to that live and do yourself a favor because you can just feel it. The way they craft the riffs and the songs, and you could feel it just pulsing through you. Mm-hmm. It's an experience.
Dude, it's like how do you capture thunder? And it's not even thunder because you can replicate thunder. But I mean, like it's musical thunder is a completely different thing. Thank you, by the way. Mazel tov.
Because
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, they got like Great Garden, they just do and it just keeps going, and it's literally moving your body.
It's dirty. That is a filthy sound, dude.
It's like God, you can feel it going through you. It's incredible, incredible.
It's just a churning, and it's interesting this pair up too. So Russian circles with
that is a
Windhand.
very interesting pair. I'm gonna have to tell you. I'm sure he knows about it. But when is it?
November 4th. I'm looking that up. That is a Monday.
Who gives it? And when it comes to shows like that, I really don't give a fuck. I'm going.
Well, look, I tell you what. That's probably going to be One Eye Jack's.
One Eye Jack's.
Yeah. Good old former home of the 80s night that I used to go to.
I'm going to text it to him right now just to see what his
all right.
I'm sure he knows about it.
Well, dude, I'm in because I would like to see that actually. It seems like it'd be a pretty cool, a really cool jam.
You are not going to be disappointed with Windhand.
No, I think I'm going to enjoy this. But that's going to be like right in the middle or at the end of fucking final exams. Fuck, I'm going to take that day off, man. Monday, November 4th, 2019. One Eye Jacks at New Orleans, Louisiana. So that'd be good. All right. Dude, I don't get it. Dude, what is up with fucking Jägermeister being like the unofficial booze of fucking metalheads? Because, I mean, goddamn Jägermeister makes me vomit, and it makes me want to vomit, and it just reminds me of vomit. And shit, I can't think of a single good thing to say about Jägermeister. And Jägermeister will never pay us to drink their product, so I'm not worried about, like, dropping that name.
I used to like Jägermeister until I got sick of it. And I can't smell cough syrup without...
Dear God. Dude, no, all it took was one night. Actually, it took one night in Portland, of all places, and Sammy from Goat Whore to completely destroy my taste for Jägermeister forevermore. Thank you, Sammy. Fuck you, Jägermeister. But apparently Slayer is getting a limited edition bottle from Jägermeister.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm very happy for Slayer. They're making money right now.
Dude, you know
They're
what?
finally making money.
Once
I
again,
couldn't be happier for them.
Slayer putting out some really interesting shit and getting, you know,
like I said, they could have been doing this, but they were getting fucked. I'm telling you, they were getting fucked, and they finally got their shit together, and I'm happy for them.
Dude, this is kind of along the lines of of what we were talking about an episode or two ago about the legitimacy or the legitimization, whatever, of fucking metal, like heavy extreme music.
Right.
And Slayer is heavy and extreme music's grandpappy, in my opinion.
Well, they've been on the Jimmy Fallon show. They've been on...
That's what I'm saying, dude. I mean, Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
For Christ's sake. You know? Jägermeister. I mean, Jaeger's always been kind of like affiliated unofficially.
Jimmy Fallon is kind of the one exception, I think, to most of the talk show. If I had to pick one, it would be him because he is the most musical out of all of them.
Yes, but he's also now. He's not like 20, 30 years ago.
No.
Can you imagine Slayer on Johnny Carson?
Right.
Or even Conan, you know what I mean? Conan O'Brien, rather, not the band. But anyway, yeah, whatever. Slayer's getting their brand.
Were they on Conan?
On a bottle of Jägermeister. I don't think so. Not while he was on NBC. Are you looking up to see if Slayer... you know what?
Well, because I want to say they were on more than one.
They might have been. Huh. I guess I wouldn't be too terribly shocked. Huh. I hope they have been. I mean, I'm not. I know they were on a couple shows. If Jimmy Fallon was the only one,
they were on Letterman.
They were on Letterman.
They were on the Jon Stewart show.
Oh shit.
No, wait. I'm sorry.
Huh.
They were on the Jon Stewart show.
Mm-hmm.
Mastodon was on Letterman.
Oh Lord. See, Mastodon is hit or miss with me.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, exactly.
For every song that they put out that I like, there's another song that I just think is.
Megadeth was on the Arsenio Hall show, playing Hangar 18. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh Lord Almighty, dude! I'm anticipating their new album. I'm not really expecting it to be great, but the whole talk about it being really heavy and having blast beats. We've talked about that. I brought that up a couple times.
Jay Leno show in 92.
Oh, Motorhead. Oh, Lemmy. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is and the funny thing is, here's the funny thing, Troy. In the UK, fucking Napalm Death. I'm talking old school, not the original, but at least old school, like Bill Steer, Lee Dorian era, Napalm Death. They were on like Channel 1 BBC like in 85 and 86 and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like they made these appearances and they were, and the hosts probably fucking said, what the hell is this? But they were still on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the
Right.
funny thing between America, the difference between America and Europe.
No,
Is that there's so much.
Probably what the host said, oh, that was great, guys. Great job, guys. Get these fucking people out of here.
No, I think they were fucking seriously like, what the hell was that? They were at least honest about it. There's a kind of honesty
What the fuck was that?
that like look, in America they're so dishonest, we're so dishonest that we won't even play that shit. We'll pretend it's not even there. We'll say it's devil worship, which of course it is. But, you know, they'll say that it's devil worship. They'll say that it's, you know, a poison to culture and to our children and blah, 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 blah. You know, we've lived through that bullshit, you know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now there's a degree of, you know, legitimacy to the metal genre. I don't feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but, I mean, that's just kind of where we are now.
And up next
it's
on
weird.
the BBC, you slam danced on my foot by the rotten puke fucks. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Troy, let's wind this up with a little bit of science, huh?
Yay for science.
Dude, I love science. Science fact. Sometimes it's better than science fiction. I love this shit. All right, a single neutron star merger supplied half of the solar system's plutonium. Dude, a single neutron stars merger supplies. So the story behind that is like plutonium. It exists on Earth, but it wasn't created on Earth. How did it get on Earth? Came from outer space. But what natural process created plutonium?
It came from outer space. Oh, Lord. Sometimes I just can't resist.
Seriously, Troy, you got to understand the facts of the matter. And the facts of the matter is it came from outer space. Yeah, apparently, until now, until fairly recently, there was no known natural process that we could think of or theorize that would create plutonium or some of like the really heavy metals. See, that's why this is on the fucking thing. But apparently, a neutron star merger. When you get a neutron star, you know what a neutron star is?
Yes, I do.
It's fucking retarded, dude.
Yeah.
It's amazing that this fucking physics actually exists out here. But yeah, you slam them together, and you get plutonium among other heavy metals. Heavy metal.
About the old neutron star,
Yes.
I guess I'm not going to go into this too in depth because I don't want anyone to steal my idea.
Yeah.
But you probably know about this. On YouTube, you can there's certain you can they have microphones pointed at stars and you can hear, and the coolest sounding ones are the neutron stars.
Oh, really?
And it's just you go in there, I don't neutron star audio, and it'll. And it's kind of what you would think of, just a churning, and that's...
I've heard pulsars before.
Yeah.
I've listened to that album. Pulsars in the 21st century.
Yeah. So
But-
you can hear, neutron stars are cool. They kind of have a machine gun type of pulse to them. It's very fast.
Dude, I love it.
It's like, what does a star sound like? Well, there you go.
I've heard some interesting shit. Like it was like
And they have they have microphones pointed out there all the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can go to a continual channel that it's just pointed out in the space.
I
And
think
it's
I've heard that. Yeah. And you hear these weird blips and these glitches, these strange sounds that
and
just
it's
come
just
out
what
of.
space sounds like.
Yeah. But in space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh no, because no one's there to hear it.
It's because there's no medium to carry the
Yeah.
the sound waves. But what I've heard was not actual audio, but like it's like audio interpretations of the signals that come that are produced by, whatever. A
Yeah,
pulsar
and we kind
or
of
a
touched on
neutron
this a
star.
little bit, like with the black holes. And I'm kind of with you on that. These physicists are not stupid people. And I like.
Turns out they're not. Yeah.
And yeah, they're not. I like the thing about the black hole is because they had artist representation of the scientists' belief of what a black hole would look like.
Yes.
And they could finally see one, and lo and behold, it's pretty much
It
exactly
looks
what the fuck they thought it
pretty
was going to
much
look like.
Oh, dude, I love that image
So,
that came out a few
yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah.
So that kind of goes to prove that, when these guys put these things out, they know what the fuck they're talking about.
We're on the right track.
They really are.
We're on the right track for sure.
And because I think a lot of that has to do with there's so many scientists looking at this shit all the time, and if you're gonna put something out,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna publish a scientific paper, it better be pretty spot on, or it's gonna get ripped to shreds pretty quick.
Okay. Here we go right here. Scientists have used a new method to find small exoplanets, which previous surveys have overlooked.
There's even more planets.
Somewhat more than 4,000 planets orbiting stars outside our solar system are known so far. Of these so-called exoplanets, about 96% are significantly larger than our Earth. Most of them more comparable with the dimensions of the gas giants Neptune and Jupiter. This percentage likely does not reflect the real conditions in space. However, since small planets are much harder to track down than the big ones, moreover, small worlds are fascinating targets in search of Earth-like potential habitable planets. That's 18. Okay, so I had an idea, but let me go. I'll go back to that. The 18 newly discovered worlds fall into the category of Earth-sized planets. Smallest of them is only 69% the size of Earth. The largest is barely more than 20 and then twice the Earth's radius. So we're talking comparable mass, or at least comparable dimensions, volumes, I guess, to the planet Earth. And whoops, we just didn't notice them before, because previous surveys they were finding the larger ones, right? The ones that were fucking huge.
So you could take that number of 4,000 and probably double or triple it.
Why not? Let's just double it for the sake of speculation. And
8,000 planets out there.
Mm-hmm.
You really think we're the only one that has life on it?
Observable planets. And we
Right.
can only see so far.
Right. 8,000. You really think we're the only one with life on it? Come on now.
Hey now.
Pull your head out of your ass and listen to reason.
But
I'm glad you brought that up because, we're on YouTube and that's what the media that we're using.
That's right.
And YouTube just continues to fascinate me because I don't know. It's something just popped up on YouTube.
Dude,
Randomly.
I gotta
you know-
interject. I think I heard a statistic that the amount of video time that has been uploaded to YouTube, okay, has surpassed the amount of time since like the origin of the universe. You know what I mean? Now, in other words, cumulatively, there is more footage on YouTube available for viewing than actual time that has existed.
So there you go.
in other words, you could get on YouTube and look forever until you're absolutely dead, and you're not even scratching the surface of the content. At
So-
least the existence of humanity. I don't know if it's the entire known universe, but it's at least since recorded history. Either way, that's fucking ridiculous. And so much of that is like cats, too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of cats.
Cats, just like kittens. Falling backwards
So
and shit.
there you go. So they generate this whatever based on your based suggestions based on your searches or whatever. Mm-hmm. So lo and behold, what pops up? Heavy metal.
All right.
Some of you may identify with that right away, but all I'm going to say, it came out in 1981, and it was the cartoon.
Yeah.
Heavy
Is that
metal.
81?
That was 81.
No shit. Okay. Wow.
I thought it was later. But
I thought it was
just-
84, but
Well, I just had the. I mean, it says it right here.
okay.
Till animation 1981.
All right. 81 it is.
Now you want to talk about influential things that defined who you are today. That would have to be in there. I've watched it probably 20 times, and it didn't really have an incredible amount to do with metal, but it kind of did.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that counterculture type
Yes.
of thing, and man, it was. I would have to say it was extremely influential.
Yeah.
That was a killer. It was like a series kind of. It was one movie, one animated product, but it had different stories in it, like 3 or 4 different little storylines in it, and it was fantastic. If you have never ever seen that, just look up heavy metal animated movie. It's and do yourself a favor and watch it because it's fabulous.
So that reminds me of the story. See if we got time. Yeah, I'll probably edit out some shit. What was it? Donovan. Punch. You know, Soylent Green, Angel Dust, and so on. He calls me a favor. You know, he wants me to come help them. They were playing a show at Zeppelin's in Fat City with Exhumed. Oh God! And who the fuck was in? What was this other band? Oh shit! I apologize. It was a kind of like a doom band, and this was. And then it was his 90 something, whatever. So he just wanted me to go, like, just kind of like, hey, hang with these guys. I had a van at the time, you know, that Aerostar van.
Aerostar,
Yeah, bring him down, just kind of cruise around town. Me and Sierra, we went out and just like drank. Brought him to the show, just kind of fucked around, you know what I mean? He was hosting these guys, you know, so whatever. So I'm like, yeah, it was a last minute thing, but like, you know, no problem. Dude, I had in between the front 2 seats, I had like my bag with my D&D stuff, right? And a couple of these guys like, oh shit, man, you play? And so like we were talking about like all this geeky, you know, Dungeons and Dragons kind of shit. It's like, oh cool, man. You know, I'm hanging out with these guys from Exhumed, and fuck, I can't remember the name of the other band, but but that. There's like this fucking connection between like that sort of like just kind of geeky aspect of culture from like the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, shit, dude, what's your name? Michael Moorcock. He's an author, all right? He wrote the fucking Stormbringer series. Elric of Manilbene. I read a few of their books. Fucking Dalrymple, if you have some comments, make them below, because he has 1,000 more things to say about them. But he played in a band, actually, Michael Moorcock. He's a fantasy author, right? Did a whole bunch of like fantasy writing, Elric saga and stuff. And he played in a band, and I don't know if he played with or was in the same band with fucking Lemmy.
Oh shit!
And I can't remember the name of the band. It was like something Stormwind or something like that. Dude, we're talking like late 70s, maybe early 80s. And I don't remember if they were before or if they were at the same time as when Motorhead was doing their thing. This dude's British. But they had this sort of like fucking kind of, I don't know if I want to call it subculture of like fucking kind of like fantasy geeks who are just getting into metal. I mean, like it kind of makes sense. It's connected to the old wave or the new wave of British heavy metal
Right.
kind of stuff with which Motorhead came out of, you know, and Stormbringer, Stormwind, I can't remember. Fucking Dalrymple comment that that was the band that he played in. All right, Moorcock, and so he was fucking up there jamming with fucking Lemmy, dude.
Right.
And then
Right.
the rest is history. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all this shit kind of spawned off of stuff like that. But that band heavy metal or that animation heavy metal just kind of reminded me of that same era where like a lot of I mean fucking Zeppelin was fucking writing about Tolkien and shit,
Right,
dude.
right.
You know, I mean, it's funny, but there's like this kind of like. There's like a mystique about like a lot of like this old fantasy writing, a lot of this old, you know, medieval inspired, you know, stuff that came out of the UK that really fucking fed into a lot of the stuff that became a lot of the metal shit that we listen to now, man. I mean, think about that. I mean, you got like Zeppelin and then like, you know, Motorhead and stuff like that, like I just
Yeah.
mentioned. And then you got like fucking Iron Maiden who kind of
Right.
took the next step after
Right.
that, and then everything branched off before that. They're contemporaries.
And you can easily see how Gothic stuff branched off of that.
From the dark side of things, the
Right.
blah side of things, totally, man. Yeah.
Which we're not really into the whole Gothic thing.
Except that the way that it influenced black metal, though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just don't understand the makeup and the whatever.
well, I like my skin tone.
It's very nice.
It is. I'm not gonna taint it with all this shit, you know. But you know, if you grew up in the UK,
Right.
where it pisses down rain, you know,
Right.
half of the year at least, you might as well, because you're kind of halfway there anyway.
No, I mean I don't have a problem with Gothic stuff. I just some of the music is just really, whew. Like we made like Rammstein.
Oh boy, we
Yeah.
brought that up last episode. and yet some of that shit's kind of some of it's okay. Rammstein, I'm not into. Laibach, I'm into, but they influence.
But look how
Rammstein.
popular Rammstein is.
Not according to Germany.
Yeah, which is kind of strange, but whatever.
No, apparently they just kind of really milked the U.S. market
Yeah.
because they're so German and ethnic, or
But like
or
some of the
something.
stuff, but I'm not gonna lie though, some of the stuff kind of intrigues me like Ghost.
They've been coming a lot up in the
Fuck,
news.
man. It's really not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
but,
same here.
You know, just listening to him, like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I see like a live video of them performing,
Yeah.
I just find myself watching the whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just something about it. I don't know.
What was the name of that?
I
band?
kind of like Ghost. Fuck off. You know.
There was like a fucking new metal band. It was kind of new metal. It's not Stained. Oh fuck. My memory is ruining this show.
Disturbed.
Shit, it wasn't Disturbed.
Avenged
It
Fold.
wasn't Avenged Sevenfold. No.
Five Finger Death Punch.
No, stop. Who the fuck were they? And it sucks because I can think of like some of their music is popping up in my head right now.
That's Slipknot.
Not Slipknot.
Slipknot.
Oh my God, Slipknot's been showing up in the news so much,
Yeah.
and I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And dude, every news story that I brought up today, there's like 3 or 4 for every item. There's like 3 or 4 Slipknot, Corey Taylor.
It's like you know the true metalheads
I-
because somebody brings up Slipknot, you're like, get the fuck away from me. Just go away.
All right, who the fuck is who is the band? They do they had a few videos on MTV.
Oh, so they're kind of old.
Yeah, kind of like early 2000s. Not Falling is one of the songs. This is where I get to practice my video editing skills.
Are you Captain Lee?
to tell me you don't remember that, dude. It's Hand Over Fist. The fucking janitor dude.
Dude, you know, I mean, that was part of that era of animation too, when fucking Rock and Roll and Wizards and the old Rankin Bass The Hobbit.
I just absolutely love how it. I mean, it starts out with that chick, and she grabs a sword with that big statue and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they cut right to freaking the aliens on the spaceship snorting space cocaine and getting all fucked up and flying around in space.
Dude.
It's like, dude, come on, man, it's great.
It's the kind of shit that the late 70s and the early 80s was pretty much destined to produce. Mudvayne.
Oh, yeah.
Mudvayne is the name of the band that I was trying to think of earlier. Anyway, they when they came onto the scene, they had like the crazy makeup and the fucking weird, shock kind of shit going on.
But there was a little bit something different about Mudvayne.
Yeah.
At least the bass player, because they could actually play.
The bass player.
I know.
The bass player is the shit. That dude is tight, and he's gone on to do a lot of prog, kind of like technical, fucking elaborate kind of shit, dude. Dude's good. Dude's really good. And I recognized him with Mudvayne because I mean they were playing some pretty good like syncopated kind of stuff, not even like polyrhythmic, because the guitar was that song Not Falling, like he was doing a few like octave parts and stuff, and the bass was, if you weren't a musician you may not even notice, but the bass was doing the fucking melody alongside with the vocals, and they were fucking creating a sort of counterpoint melody that they were playing off of one another, and meanwhile the guitar is doing the rhythm. He's just playing like power chords or like octave and stuff, and the bass is doing. He's bouncing all over the place with the singer, and the singer's really good, man. He's got
and that's why I said they were a little different because a lot of the ones that come out in the fucking, all of the get up and the face paint and all that stuff. It's just kind of like a gimmick. But with Mudvayne, it kind of wasn't because those guys could actually fucking play.
They could play. They could
fucking play good.
Yeah. And even I'm not trying to knock the guitarist because he did probably what he had to do.
No, they're a really good band.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save this for next time. Screw it. I'm not gonna spoil all the science. I'm going to go ahead and hold off on that. Yeah, dude, apparently Tool is putting out some new shit.
Yeah. And me and Jason were kind of talking about that the other day at practice, and it was like, because there was like Tool and like the Melvins, because we're all talking about like kind of where our origins, how we first got into music. And it was like, it was fucking Tool and the Melvins. And that's like just everybody you talk to.
Right.
I was never. We were. I don't know if you was into Tool or not.
Well, the Tool I was. I was
never into Tool, and I was never into Melvins.
I was a Tool in the 90s.
Yeah.
No, I was into Tool. I mean, I listened to the videos they had to put out, and retroactively I listened to like Opiate and shit like that.
It just never hooked me in. I listened to it and I tried it.
Yeah.
It just never drew me in. There's something about Tool's sound I just don't like.
I always found them interesting because there was something about their sound that I shouldn't like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it
like,
does.
I listened to it and I'm like, man, if you boil it down, everything was kind of separate sounding. Like you can hear the drums very clearly. And I don't know if this is really a production issue or not, but like you can hear all the drums and you can hear the guitars and you can hear the bass. Everything it didn't blend and meld in.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I remember feeling the exact same way about it. And I'm like, God, I wish the guitars were beefier.
Yeah.
I wish the bass was boomier. I wish the vocals were a little bit higher.
But it wasn't.
None
of that was the case.
And it was never I guess Tool's music was never put together the way I wanted to hear it. Yeah. So it just never drew me in.
Yeah.
And like and I recognize them as musicians and what they do, and it's great. And I really love the things that Maynard put behind it. You know, the Lazarus and the fucking, what's that theory that he fucking goes off of, that they wrote songs off of? It's not it's not the theory I'm thinking of, but y'all know what it is because y'all are Tool fans.
Yes.
Of course you are. But I dig all of that, and I like the meaning they had behind stuff and stuff like that. But it's like I had to like, the thing about with Tool, I wanted to get into the lyrics because I knew how pertinent they were and how symbolic they were, and I wanted to get into it, but I, for some reason in the mix, I felt like I had to struggle to hear it. And I didn't want to work that hard for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? What? Fuck this. And it just never roped me in.
Yeah.
And the Melvins was just, quite honestly, I've heard some stuff that people have been listening to now. I'm like, yeah, that's all right, dude. But at the time, Melvins just never did come across my playlist. It just never did. I just totally missed the Melvins. Not that I didn't hear the Melvins, I just never heard the Melvins. All that time when everybody else attributes all their influences to the Melvins, I just never heard them.
Yeah.
Until really quite recently, which I know is strange, but they just never came across me.
Heavily influential band.
I just completely missed them.
I was like that for a while. I probably got into them a little bit earlier than
and
you
what
did.
kind of fucked me up too is when I tried to get into them, I listened to one of their fucking weird fucking albums.
Okay.
I don't remember which one it was. I'm like, fuck you. And never gave them another thought.
Okay.
You know?
It's like listening to a bonus track and like assuming that that's representative of the whole band or the whole album or whatever.
But no, I just completely missed the Melvins. It's just, I don't know why. I was just listening to other stuff.
It's a bit of a mixed bag, you know. But I mean, we also came from, you know, different traditions and stuff.
Right.
I think you had. I mean, certainly there's overlap, and certainly we had, you know, definitely places where we crossed over. But you kind of came from sort of more of the
punk,
the original hardcore kind of scene.
That was definitely my origins. Was hardcore punk.
Yeah, and I think I came from a little bit more of like the heavy metal scene, maybe
like
the thrash
Anthrax.
metal scene. Definitely the thrash in terms of Anthrax. Which I don't really have a whole lot to say about, but apparently they're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
With Joey Belladonna, the original. Oh, not the original, but like
I just
the most
saw
prominent vocalist.
Scott Ian on YouTube doing something.
He was involved in a some kind of demo. I think it was really what it was, but it was a whole bunch of guitarists doing like the theme song for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Is that what it was? So
what
it was Scott Ian. This is the weirdest combination. It was Scott Ian, Nuno Bettencourt from Extreme.
Okay.
Brad Paisley.
Okay.
Well,
I
mean, these are excellent musicians.
Unlike a lot of country musicians, Brad Paisley can fucking play. Okay?
Motherfucking can play.
There's no doubt about that.
No doubt. Your boy, who is the guy who composed the original music for the soundtrack of Game of Thrones, and there was somebody else. There's like 5 people on guitar.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like jamming out and playing the theme song. That's kind of cool. It popped up on YouTube, and I'm like, yeah. But that shit's over with. It's old school. It's done. So we got bigger fish to fry. You know, we got Star Wars coming up.
Yeah. What is that? Is that the last movie or what?
That's supposed to be the last movie.
It's supposed to be episode.
The last
3?
9.
It's supposed to be 9.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is it as far as like the ending of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah. Right.
Now they're going to do all kinds of offshoots, like they did with Han Solo story, and they're
Hmm.
gonna probably just do some Ben Kenobi thing or some like
Well,
something
I
about
mean,
like what's
if Marvel has taught us
Boba
anything, they
Fett.
can always go back to the comic books because I mean, you can do a whole offshoot just on Darth Vader,
and
and how awesome would that be?
you know what though? I've been watching, and we're gonna have to wrap this up. But I'm gonna have to say I've seen a couple episodes of some fucking like I can't even call it fan fiction because that cheapens the production of it. But like some basically some homemade independent
Fan films.
fan films
There's hundreds of them. Yeah.
of fucking Vader and shit, dude. Oh my god,
Yeah, I know.
fucking good shit, dude.
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
Oh, dude. I just go
well,
check that
and
shit
they're
out.
doing the Mandalorian, right? The Boba Fett thing.
So I've heard, but I haven't heard anything recently about it. So I mean, it's hard to say.
Well, it's all Disney now, so
But
you know.
I will say they are doing a new Terminator film,
Yes, they are.
and it's gonna have Linda Hamilton, and it's gonna have Arnie.
Yes,
And so
it is.
I'm gonna see that, dude. Basically everything after T2, I was just
Yeah.
fucking kind of ignored. But this, I'm on board with.
Yeah.
All right, fucking Dan Aykroyd, he's doing another Ghostbusters movie, and he's thinking about
Well-
doing a prequel.
Well, he's
Two.
got to right the ship from that last fucking abomination.
That was bullshit. Fuck that. With
That-
the four women.
you gotta-
that
you
was
gotta-
just a
you gotta
remake.
right the ship there,
garbage.
dude. You
Ignore
really
that.
do.
Pretend it didn't happen, dude. That was like the Star Wars Christmas special, as far as I'm concerned. It didn't happen. And look, I mean, and I'm not. A couple of the people who are the players, like independently. I was talking to Nicole about this. Independently, they do what they do, but that was a bullshit movie.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. Pretend it didn't happen.
Right.
I'm on board with this new idea because Dan Aykroyd is involved.
Right.
And a lot of what Dan Aykroyd does, I gotta say,
Yeah.
I'm a follower of.
Oh, sure.
And I'm not saying that I watch every movie that he acted in, but dude, as far as like acting and writing and shit, dude. I mean, he was involved in fucking. He was involved in Ghostbusters, right? He was involved in
Blues Brothers.
Huh? Blues Brothers. Oh my God.
Spies Like Us.
Want to get some coffee? Oh, good.
Doctor.
Doctor. Aykroyd is great, man.
Yeah.
But we got some. Yeah, so we got some cool shit coming out. Yeah, as far as movies go.
Well, as far as Arnold Schwarzenegger goes, I'm still waiting for that fucking Conan movie to come out.
I brought that up. I don't. It's
Apparent-
probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not, but apparently,
I would love for it to
years
happen.
ago,
That'd be badass.
the works were they were waiting for it. Might have just been propaganda. I don't know, but it was a cool idea. Mm-hmm. And you know how Hollywood is now. Any little glimpse of a fucking idea, but they were waiting for Arnold to age because he eventually got his kingdom.
Conan the King.
Conan the King.
Yeah, yeah.
So, still waiting for that.
I would watch that too.
That was my
man.
all-time favorite.
I would watch
Conan
that
the
too.
Barbarian was fucking great.
You see, there's this connection.
The Destroyer was great too.
Oh, dude, there's a connection
Boombata.
between this fucking metal thing that we do, dude, and
Fantasy.
fantasy
Yeah.
and sci-fi and all the implications out of that, dude. There's a connection. I don't know what it is. I'll figure that out one day. That'll be another episode. We'll put that on fucking YouTube.
Well, the thing was,
One day.
Conan wasn't riding out on his horse, listening to the light, airy favorites of the 70s and 60s.
No, dude, he was here to fuck you shit up, dude.
He was listening to fucking metal when he
Dude,
was
he
riding
was-
out,
Dude, he was not a fucking noble knight or anything. He was a thief.
He was a barbarian.
He was fucking there to fuck your shit up, dude. You didn't give a shit. No, originally he was a thief, dude. He was supposed to be a thief, and he was. There's no honor among thieves, but apparently there is, and Conan was there to just basically redefine honor, in one way or the other. And with that,
I thought there was 3 of you. Oh, we lost him in the garden. He was eaten by lions. Oh, lions ate him.
What was that?
That was the Barbarian.
I'm gonna have to look at that again.
Subutai.
Huh?
Subutai. The archer.
I'm gonna have to look at it again, man.
Oh, dude.
Dude, it's been too long.
Well, I
Dude,
remember
the
every
last time I saw-
facet of that film because I watched it 8,000
Oh my god,
times.
dude! The last time I saw that was I was still in undergrad. I was watching it with Jesus Christ, who was with me? Russell and Michelle.
The greatest part of the Barbarian is when he gets captured by James Earl Jones.
yes.
Thulsa,
Darth Vader.
Thulsa Doom.
Uh huh.
And they got him in the courtyard, and he's bleeding by the fountain.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You killed my father.
Yeah.
You killed my people. You took my father's sword."
Yeah.
You go,
yeah.
"Oh, the riddle of steel. You know what it is, don't you, boy?" Or should I tell you? It's the least I could do. When I was in my younger days, I thought steel was strength. What is steel but the hand that wields it? Up there on the rocks, they got, it's lined with all these chicks. The religion of Thulsa Doom.
Uh-huh.
Come to me, my child. Come to me.
Yeah.
And she just walks off. That's power.
That's power, yeah.
Contemplate this on the tree of woe. Crucify.
Ah, yes.
So with that, I guess
With
it's
that.
time to go.
Yeah, it's bedtime.
Bye bye, kids.
Hey, you know what? Keep one foot in the gutter, one fist in the goal.
Yeah, or one finger in the stink and one
Fart in the pink, one
ear in
testicle
the
spotlight.
goodbye.